Let's start by defining a function called fetch cross-origin data that will make a GET request to a specified URL. This URL will be for an API endpoint that is hosted on a different domain than our web page, making it a cross-origin request. We use the Fetch API, which is a modern, powerful, and flexible way to make network requests in the browser. The fetch function takes our API endpoint URL as a parameter. The fetch call returns a promise that resolves to the response object of the request. Here, we're using the then method to handle this response asynchronously. We check if the response's status is OK, which corresponds to HTTP status codes in the range 200 to 299, indicating success. If it's not, we throw an error to be caught later. If the request isn't successful, we throw a new error with a message indicating that the network response wasn't OK. Next, if the response is successful, we call the JSON method on the response object. This method parses the response body as JSON and also returns a promise. With another then method, we handle the resolved promise from the JSON call. The data parameter is now the parsed JSON object received from the API. We can now process this data however we need to. For this example, we're simply logging it to the console to demonstrate that we've successfully retrieved it. Finally, we add a catch method to our promise chain to handle any errors that occur during the request or in any of the previous then methods. If there's an error, we log it to the console using console error. This helps with debugging and ensures we're aware of any issues that arise. And that's it. To use our function, we simply call fetch cross-origin data and pass the URL of the cross-origin resource that we want to retrieve. For example, we could fetch data from https://appyexample.com data. Remember to replace the URL with the actual endpoint you need.